All right, it's currently about 8:30 a.m. It's Tuesday, June 20th, 2023, and I'm in my office. I'm doing the recon for laryngectomy. There's a little bit of downtime in the beginning, so I'm sitting in my office getting some work done. Something you might notice is that I now have a Rode Wireless Go 2. Just picked that up yesterday. I found a sweet deal on Facebook Marketplace, and so I just pounced on it. It was new in box, and a guy was selling it for $200 when it normally retails for 300 for what's essentially a new condition product. So yeah, that's why I jumped on it. You know, I've always been interested in the Rode Wireless Go. I remember when it first came out, the first version, the original Go. I thought, yep, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do audio because lav mics suck. Which, by the way, I am using a lav mic right now. Lav mics suck, and shotgun mics also suck. Not in terms of sound quality, but just in terms of being a sheer annoyance and inconvenience. Right now, these things aren't perfect because they run off batteries, which means you got more things that you gotta, pay attention to in terms of battery life. But as long as these, the thing with the battery has enough battery life, once it passes a certain threshold, it's not a problem. If it's something that you like literally have to charge, every time you use it, that's a problem. So I don't think these are like that, but I don't know. We'll see. They're supposed to have like 6.5 hours of battery time, which should be plenty for you to do multiple recording sessions. So why am I using a lav mic? Well, I stupidly forgot my receiver in another room, and so I'm doing the onboard recording here. That's one of the nice things about the Wireless Go 2, as opposed to the I can't remember what the most recent version is called, but these guys have onboard recording. So even if there's no receiver, it's still recording into an internal file. Now, there are some things that I don't like about it already, even though this is like literally the first time I'm using it. I don't know about the sound quality. I can say that I've listened to the transmission, using the monitoring output from the receiver, and it sounds good, and has no latency, which is, I guess is kind of expected from a very, pro level type of audio solution. It's the same as the monitoring from my Blue Yeti, is the same as the monitoring from my Zoom H1N, all these dedicated, somewhat serious audio devices. But those other things are wireless. This thing is, sorry, those other things are not wireless, whereas this thing is wireless. And no latency. Now, in terms of sound quality, hard to judge, purely based on monitoring headphones, just because, I'm talking and hearing myself, through my own head, not just from the monitor. So that's not the best way to judge audio quality, but it sounds about the same as if I was monitoring using the Zoom H1N. So which is to say it's good enough, for this type of thing. But this will be the first time that I'm actually recording some audio and listening to it afterwards. So we'll see how it goes. So another thing that I don't like about it, I figure I should mention, because I didn't realize this when I got it, is that there's actually no way to connect these guys to your iPad or iPhone right out of the box. You have to buy like a separate cable. They don't include the cable. They include other cables. They include the USB-C charging cable. Three of them, and that's because I got the two receiver package. But yeah, there's three USB-C cables, and they give you a TRS audio cable, but no USB-C to Lightning cable, and there's no Bluetooth connection to your phone or nothing. Yeah, And that's that's a bummer for me because I like to do most of my video editing on an iOS device, namely my iPad, sometimes my iPhone. I know a lot of people who were getting this, if they fancy themselves like a professional YouTuber or something, probably want to do most of their editing on a computer. But I'm just doing this for fun. This is very, very amateur work, and yeah, I do most of my stuff on my iPad. And so not having a way to directly connect these things to my iPad to get the files is a bit of a bummer. What's more, I think even if you do get the cable and you connect these guys directly to your iPad, I don't actually think you can download the files off of the onboard storage. That's something I did not realize. So, it's not in the spec sheets. It's probably not something that other reviewers have talked about. So I'm telling you, that is a real bummer because that's gonna be a real problem for my workflow. I'll just mention that these guys straight out of the box were firmware 1.0. So these must have been like the first units ever produced or something. Another thing I noticed was that when I took them out of the box, they were completely dead, completely discharged. Right? I had to plug them in and charge them back up. Usually with electronic devices, I find when I get them new from the box, they usually have some charge. They'll turn it on. And you still want to plug them in, charge them up to full. But these guys were completely dead, won't even turn on, which suggests that these are probably they've been on the shelf for a while. And I think the charging is a little bit slow too. Like this morning, I charged the other transmitter, and it was plugged in for like at least half an hour, close to an hour, and it was only back up to 15%. Now, hopefully, this is just because it's, being charged back up from a long state of being discharged. Hopefully, in the future, with the battery, having woken up a bit, that it will charge faster because, 15% in half an hour is not very good. That's mostly what I wanted to say about this for now. This is more a test of the recording. I will say that I will just mention like the sort of story behind it. Like I mentioned, I saw it on Facebook Marketplace for very cheap, and I reached out to the guy, and turned out that he was a YouTuber, a local YouTuber. Still a very small channel, but he seemed super enthusiastic about it. I asked him about it. He showed me his channel. He said, "Hey, here are my socials." He showed me on his phone. He runs like I think a car channel. Still not enough subscribers to be monetized, but sounds like that's the direction that he wants to go. He says he's not full time yet, but he would like to go full time with that YouTube channel. That's cool, man. But I wish him all the luck. He's a big guy, big beard, very friendly. The other funny thing was I asked to meet him at a public place after work to do the exchange, and like basically right at that time, it started pouring rain. So I felt a little bit bad making him come out to meet me in like just monsoon rain. Yeah, that's about it. I'm looking forward to checking out how this sounds.